title. So yeah, so the title of this will be Psychological Guerrilla Warfare Vehicle, Stage 1, PGWV. That is Psychological Guerrilla Warfare Vehicle. It's the images of a PT boat, torpedo patrol boat. You could put an initial PT boat. That'll give you the idea. That's the image, that's the picture that we have of this stage of fighting in which we're in. That we see our community, I mean the whole community, whether it's As-Sabiqun Liberation Movement, As-Sabiqun Liberation Organization, Resistance Movement in North America, College of Islamic Movement Studies, National Mobilization, Muslim Parliament, all of that comes under this title, or this theme right now. The Psychological Guerrilla Warfare Vehicle. What is that? And I'll get into what that vehicle is in just a minute. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Was it a question we was dealing with just a second ago?
Yeah, I think we were talking about I guess trying to reunite, the various empires.
Right, there's various empires, and we was talking about that unity. The reason for the unity did not exist. The fact that in 2011, we had a demonstration in Dallas. In fact, it was at the place where Kennedy got shot, the grassy knoll. That was our subject, was that there would be no Arab Spring, and that this struggle right now that we're going through then will go through several phases. Just to bring a little bit of that together, you got to remember where everybody is right now in the Middle East. First of all, they invaded Iraq, destroyed Iraq's infrastructure. One of the most well-read country in the Arab world. They used to have a saying, they print books in Lebanon and in Egypt, but they read them in Iraq. Iraq was one of the richest countries. Before all of those wars, Iraq was rich, Iraq was powerful, and Iraq was in pocket. The best educated Arabs in that part of the world was from Iraq. Okay, so the invasion of Iraq, forget about the 91, but the invasion of Iraq 2003 finished the destruction of Iraq. And they are knocking over one of their friendly dictators who had served them well in the 1980 to 1988 war against Iran. Okay, then you come up to a little bit before the invasion of Iraq, what they did to Afghanistan. And today, 2017, they're still in Afghanistan with no signs of leaving and no ability to leave. What do? They just sent about 4,000 more troops over, which is a pretty big place. It's like, where are they, So by the time you get to Libya, You have to remember, Libya has said that, okay, Gaddafi said, okay, we'll be friends with y'all, we'll get rid of any nuclear stuff we was gonna try, da 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 da. And he cooperated with him. And for that, they destroyed Libya. They destroyed Libya. When they destroyed Libya, they feel like they're on the road now. Now, of course, the Russians didn't like that because Libya has always, all their weapons were mostly Russian. They're a kind of client. The IRA worked out of Libya, you know, Irish Republican Army, everybody. They referred to Gaddafi as the king of Africa because he helped Chad, he helped them with big money, infrastructure and all of that. So they destroyed Libya. Now they're headed to destroy Syria. The only thing that was different was that during the war with Iran and Iraq, all the Arabs joined with Iraq against Iran, all of them. They had Egyptian pilots, Sudanese mercenaries, Jordanian regulars, Exocet missiles from France, T-72 tanks from Russia. Everybody was on Saddam's side against Iran, except Syria. Syria did not help Iran, but Syria did not harm Iran. And during all of this period, Syria was still in Lebanon. If you wonder why Syria always had a hand in Lebanon, it's because some years before that, Lebanon was a part of Syria. Most people forget that. Before Sykes-Picot, all of that was a part of the Ottoman Empire. And so Sham included Lebanon. Then in 1921 or 20, that Sykes-Picot that broke up all of that area between British and French influence, it cut off a piece of Syria and called it Lebanon. Okay. So that's why during the Lebanese Civil War in 1975, all of that, not to get historical, but all of that Syria coming in to kind of keep the war level down, keep the balance between the Christians, Sunnis, and Shias, right? Well, in the 1980s, Syria allowed Iran to teach and train the Lebanese Shias. Before Nabi Berri and all of them was big, and Ahmad was big in Lebanon. But when the Pastoran from Iran went to Lebanon after the 1982 invasion, a couple of years after that, remember, all the things that are harmful to the U.S. and Israel and Saudi Arabia, they themselves created each one of those problems. When the Israelis ran the Palestinians out of Lebanon in 1982, right? They had Sabra and Shatila, they killed 40,000 people. And it's only, there's only 3 or 4 million people in Lebanon. Left 1 million homeless, they destroyed Lebanon. This is when the Shia came to power under the Hezbollah, developed by Iran with Syrian assistance or cooperation. So when Syria is attacked, they done finished off, remember, their goal, this is very important, their goal is to reshape the Middle East. That's the first thing we saw a few years back. They are now reshaping what they was thinking. We're going to reshape the Middle East in our own image, the way we want it. Palestinians are weak. Iraq's weak. Everything is shattered. So we're going to remake it in our own image. So they started knocking off the ones that could help, and they took the weak ones to help knock the strong ones over. When I say weak, it means strong economic but weak in backbone. So Saudi Arabia and Qatar helped get rid of Libya, Gaddafi. Okay. Yeah. Every Daesh, ISIL, all of those are creations of Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States. Every last one of them. No matter how far you go back, that crew. So by the time, when we come up to recent times, by 86, 96, 2006 that is, the Israelis invaded Lebanon again. They cleaned up real good. So they said, we definitely got to remake this now. But all that we're going to run in and kick your behind stuff, we'll have to put that on the back burner. So they're going to destroy and take every strong peg loose. It worked with Libya. The main guy they got to get rid of is Iran. They can't go directly at Iran. So they go the roundabout route. That's what Syria was about. Because Syria, no matter what you say about it, it was always a dictatorship, but it had a correct policy when it came to Palestine, when it came to anti-Israel, and when it came to pro-Iran. Now, I have mentioned many times in lectures the Quranic support for Syria's position, coming from the 9th Surah, Surah Tawbah, or Barat al-Mushrikeen. That's one of the other names of the 9th Surah. Disavowing all relations with the Mushrikeen. But of course, and it says after 4 months, it's all this is finished with everybody. Except the third ayah, it says, except those mushriks who have never fought against us, nor joined anyone else to fight against us. You know, the Iranians, when I told them that they had forgot all about it. They didn't realize they could have defended themselves already Quranically all the time. Because I said it at the UN, and they looked around at each other. This nigga's more founded in this stuff than we are. We're dealing with that. Because that's clearly what it says. Okay. So, every problem they have in that region, all of Europe is dismayed over what? Refugees. Where do the refugees come from? Syria, Afghanistan, Afghans in Sweden, Syrians from everywhere else, and Africans. They destabilized Africa from Gaddafi. They destabilized Libya, so the people come to Libya because it's weak and destabilized, and from Libya, they catch a rowboat across the Mediterranean, the ones that don't drown, and go to Europe. So millions of people that are in Turkey and in Europe are from Syria. The others are from Afghanistan. The few Africans that come from destabilized government that Gaddafi was helping to look out for. Do you see how they created? That's the miracle. The subject we made of a regional vision. That blockbuster is as big as when I was on this TV program with Professor, you can see it on there, on Mary something. It's the university from Georgetown, the big Professor George Mason, Georgetown. And we're talking about all that region, and he says, and we did help in Afghanistan against the Russians. I said, we didn't help in Afghanistan. And so I told him, what you did was, you helped this group in Afghanistan, and they got big. Then, as they working against the Russians, you take another group that don't particularly like them, and you help them, and they get big. I said you took the 4 major groups in Afghanistan, help all of them become about equal, so they would be equal. After you get rid of the Soviet Union, they all equal. There ain't no supreme leader like in Iran or nowhere. So there's no dominant force that can say, hey, let's all be brothers. And if we don't, I'm gonna whoop y'all in line. They're all equal. So if you put 4 niggas in a room and they're all equal, or 4 preachers, 4 of them got big churches in D.C.